So today we're going to talk about two of my favorite things, building Slackbots for fun, and the serverless framework. So I build a lot of Slackbots, mostly for fun. You can build them for useful things if you want to. I suggest the fun one is more fun for me personally. So my name is Purvi. I'm the CTO of Bridge School. We are a nonprofit that teaches women, agender, and non-binary folks for free how to code and product design skills. You can find me on the internet, on Twitter or GitHub, and find our organization. So for fun, I love the show Parks and Rec. And if you haven't watched that, you should probably leave and binge watch the whole thing. And Leslie Knope gives her best friend some of the best compliments in the world, and I wanted to compliment all my friends. And most of my friends are on Slack, and I love building weird random Slack bots, and I'd never done it in sort of like a real production way before. So I was like, all right, this sounds fun. And I was like, all right, let's create a node server. And soon I learned that Slackbot dev can be pretty inconvenient. And also managing servers is not fun. I hate doing it, and I hate debugging them. And there's so many things that are just difficult about it. It can be pretty expensive. If you want to spin up a server for something fun, you're not going to end up maintaining that at all. Local testing for Slackbots is not seamless. They do not integrate well with localhost at all, as I learned. And debugging is pretty difficult too, because you're calling different services. So I decided to buy into the hype and look into serverless. And there's a serverless framework on top of serverless architectures, which basically, every time you call an endpoint, it runs the code that you want to run. That's amazing. So I started a separate Slack instance to test with. I created a bot user for that. I integrated the serverless offline plugin, and I had to tunnel localhost through ngrok. And this is kind of what the serverless config file looks like. You can have your secrets. You can have any plugins that you need. So serverless offline lets you run it in localhost. You can name your provider, which could be AWS, or it could be anything else you want. And then I went into my Slack bot, and for the dev environment, I would put in my ngrok URL. For your prod environment, you would put in whatever Lambda URL you get for that through API Gateway. And then from there, you can write the code that you want to write for when that function is called. And it's so simple. This just means that I can focus on the fun parts, and I don't have to do any of the scaling or the server management, which means that I can really have fun with my development. So I combined serverless with AWS Lambda for this particular service, so I could deploy it and actually use it in all of my Slacks. You can use whatever you like, and it was pretty simple to do that as well. All I had to do was create a user that had access to AWS Lambda and also API Gateway, and I would just configure that. You can do that on your local machine, or you can do it for CI/CD. Configure it there, and then it's really as simple as this. This is it. All you have to do is hit serverless deploy with the profile that you want, and it deploys your functions automatically, which was pretty amazing for me. I went from managing servers and SSHing into boxes, and then I had this Slackbot in 5 minutes. And then now you can compliment yourself like I did, or your friends, or build something useful. And it was really fun, and I released it just in time for Valentine's Day, which is great. So you can check out the code. I know this is a really fast talk. It's on my GitHub. I can tweet it out right after the talk as well. And it has a list of all the compliments that are found in the show, which is fun. And it has a whole serverless setup, and you can use your own credentials. So thank you so much, and I'll see you on the internet.